Raghu, go.
Yat Purusha Vyadaduhu
Yat
Katid
Purusham Vyadadhu.
Yat Purusham Vyadaduhu Katidha Vyakalpayan Mukham Kimasya Kaubahu Kavuru Pada Uchyete
Kavurupada Uchyete.
Kavuru Pada Uchyete Bra
Brahmanosya Mukham Asit.
Brahmanosya Mukhamasit Bahurajanya
Kritaha
Krutaha Uru Tadasya
Yadvaishyaha
Yadvaishyah
Padhyam
Padhyam
Shudro.
Shudro Ajayata
Once more.
Brahmanasya
No, it's not
Mukhamasit
Brahmanau, it is Brahmano.
Brahmanosya Mukhamasit Bahurajanya Krutaha Uru Tadasya Yadvaishyah Padhyam Shudro Ajayata
Shudro Ajayata.
Padhyam Shudro Ajayata.
Very nice. This is a very popular verse of the Purusha Sukta. Brahmanosya mukhamasid bahu rajanya kritaha uru tadasya yadvaishyah padbhyam shudro ajayata. Okay, so what is happening here? This is from 12 onward. You will see it's the Purusha is divided. So the question that is asked of the Purusha is how is the Purusha divided? Yat Purusham Vyadadhu. When the Purusha was divided, how was it divided? Kavuru Katidha Vyakalpayan. In how many ways was the Purusha imagined or thought of to be divided? Right? Okay, and then he says, Mukham Kimasya Kaubahu. Who became the mouth or the face? Mukha. It took the face, right? Who became the face? What became of the hands? Kaubahu. Kavuru pada uchete. Ka uru becomes kavuru. What became of the uru and what happened of the legs? So here the just 1 second, I'm trying to pull out something. So here he's saying what has become of the that whole Purusha, how is it being distributed, and the Purusha is assumed to have a form like a human being, whether a human being or at least a form of, it could be an animal, it could be a human being, right? We prefer to see the Purusha as a human being. Okay, so the question is, so till now, if you notice, nowhere the Purusha is referred to in form. Okay, there's nowhere till then the Purusha is referred to in form. It is referred to as an entity or a substance through which everything has come. That is how Purusha is referred to till the 11th verse. Dvipade Chatushpade. Okay, so Dvipade Chatushpade is that shloka is not about Purusha. तच्छयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तुनः दैवी स्वस्ति अस्तु नः. So then स्वस्तिरस्तुनः दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तुनः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजं Shanno astu dvipade, sham chatushpade. So let sham or auspiciousness be there for the two-legged animals and the four-legged animals. So that reference to two-legged and four-legged is not of Purusha. It is a prayer. May all the two-legged and the four-legged be well.
But corollary the two-legged and four-legged also come from the Purusha.
Yeah. That is there. But I am saying the Purusha itself, here if you notice in this verse, kimasya mukham kimasya kau bahu kavuru pada uchyate, which means that the Purusha has a face, has a bahu, has legs, and has a uru. So now the Purusha is given a form. So he's saying what has happened of the four different parts of the Purusha, what became of that, what came out of that. So I'm saying this is the first instance where Purusha itself is kind of given a form. Till the 11th shloka, Purusha is not given a form. So the Purusha is given a form, and they're saying that what has become of Purusha's face? Yat Purusham Vyadaduhu, when the Purusha was divided, Katidha Vyakalpayan, Katidha, how many parts or in how many different ways the Purusha was classified, or the parts of the Purusha, which means we are saying everything came from Purusha. So the question somebody is asking the Rishi, or the Rishi himself is asking, it's either a monologue or somebody is asking the Rishi, the Purusha Sukta, that you're saying everything came out of the Purusha. How was it divided? How did it get, when everything came out, how did it come? What are the, from the face what came out, from the body what came out, from the legs what came out, from the hands what came out? So it's a question that is kind of is somebody just trying to find out that how did it come out, and then the Rishi starts explaining that from the face the Brahmana came and so on and so forth, and then subsequently you will see there are at least two more verses where there are other things that also come from the face, from the mind, from the different body parts of the Purusha. That is also mentioned in the next two verses, right? So it is just a way of asking, saying if everything came from Purusha, from which part of the Purusha what came? So question like that is posed. So now then when you're saying which part of Purusha what, see, if you say from a pot of paisam, for example, okay, there is paisam in a pot, and you're putting your hand inside the paisam, and you're taking out from the pot of paisam, rice comes. From the pot of paisam, draksha, raisins come. From the pot of paisam, cashew nuts come. Milk comes. Elaichi comes. You wouldn't ask which part of the pot did this come from, because you're assuming that pot is a homogeneous space, right? You're just considering that pot is a homogeneous space. We wouldn't ask, oh, okay, tell me which part of the pot did you get the raisins? It is there inside. It's all mixed up. So till now we were thinking of it that way, but now he is giving a saguna rupa also to Purusha. Understand? So far, when everything came out, we didn't think that how from where Purusha's head something came out, nose something came out, ear something came out. We didn't think of it that way. We thought that, okay, it's space. Purusha is this Sarva Vyapi. And from there, these things came out. And then it just from that space, things came out. But now the Rishi is saying, if you want to, yes, Mama.
It was more than the physical aspect. Are they trying to tell us that this is a subtle, like some guna? அது மாதிரி சொல்ல வரல இல்லை எப்படி இது? Because the Purusha நம்ம வந்து all along we've been told there is no நிர்குணா தான் இல்லையா? அதுல வந்து நம்ம இப்போ குணத்தை கொண்டு வரோம்னா is it talking about the trigunas?
So the way they're the reason, in my view, the reason why the Nirguna Purusha has been given a Saguna is so that we can overlay that on us. When I'm describing the Purusha, the same thing, when you're describing Devi in Lalita Sahasranama, you're overlaying that form onto us. So then you are saying, oh, the face is so beautiful, the face is like this, there is the Chandrama Vibhraja, Dalikasthala Shobhita, the Mukha Chandra Kalankabha and all that. So we are visualizing this Devi not like that, but superimposed on you like this. That is the best way to meditate. Not seeing the form that we are describing on the outside, but overlaying that form on the inside, and then this form becomes that. And then when we visualize, you're saying, oh, Mukham, Lalita Sahasranama, Mriganabhi Kalankabha, Kalankabha Visheshaka, Mriganabhi Visheshaka, Vadana Smara Mangalya, Sutra Shobhita Kandhara, Kanakangada Keyura, Kamaniya Bhujanvita. So all of this, we visualize this thing on ourselves. What happens because of that? That visualization makes us into that form. It gives us, it purifies us in a way, because you are overlaying something beautiful on you. So it is cleansing ourselves and also elevating our minds to a state of the divine, Devi or Krishna or whatever. It's elevating our minds. So instead of, which is why when the Nirguna becomes Saguna and the Saguna is described in the human form, see, if the Saguna is described in the form of a dog, we won't be able to understand, we'll not know how to superimpose it on ourselves, right? If something beautiful is described about the tail, how will you superimpose it on yourself? Because you don't have one, right? It'll be difficult to imagine if it speaks about the claws, so beautiful claws, how will you superimpose? It's difficult for us to superimpose. So whenever there is the Saguna Upasana, the best way is to bring that form onto ourselves as though this form that is sitting here has become that. This is Tantra. What I am sharing now is the Tantra form of worship. The normal form of worship is Bhagavan is there, you're worshipping, you're offering Archana, you're doing Puja, Abhisheka, Kunkumam and all of that. But that is on the outside. But when you do Dhyana or when you're chanting a mantra, or even while you're doing Archana, which is why you notice a lot of times when you do Archana, you have to bring your whatever Pushpam or Kunkumam or whatever, bring it to your heart or bring it to your Agnya. And then you offer that. Because what you're doing is you're also creating that connection between the two. So what is happening is I am creating a connection between my Agnya or my Hridaya Chakra and the Murti there. And when I'm doing that, then this connection is getting created, and whatever energy gets generated there will be transferred to me through this transmission or channel that I'm creating, which is why we do those things, right? So from a visualization standpoint, we do it this way. So Brahmano asya mukham asit. So he goes to explain that from the face comes the Brahmana. Okay. So the Purusha, the question is, how did the Purusha create all of this? So first he starts with the human beings. He starts to explain with the human beings and saying that Brahmano asya mukham asit bahura janyah kritah uru tadasya yad vaishyah padbhyam shudro ajayata. So the direct meaning is pretty clear, right? Brahmano syamukham asit. From the face came the Brahmins, the Brahmana. From the hands, bahu rajanyah kritah. The rajas or the kshatriyas came from the bahu. Uru tad vaishyah. from the uru or the torso, the middle part of the body, came the Vaishya. And
Uru thai இல்லையா?
Idama?
Uru is thai இல்லையா?
Uru is thighs. Yeah, you're right. The lower part of the body, correct. Uru is the thighs. From the thighs came the Vaishya. So I would consider the uru as the torso, this context, anywhere from the stomach area to the thighs. Because the next one is Padbhyam Shudro Ajayata. So that is the feet. Padbhyam, the feet or the legs. From that came the Shudra. So if you're dividing the body, it's until the neck here is the face. Then you've got the hands and a part of the torso. So like the hands until the belly area. And then the belly downwards till the thighs would be considered as the third part, Uru, Tad Vaishyaha. Then from the legs, knee down is the legs, Padbhyam Shudro Ajayata. So if you're dividing the Purusha, or you're saying from which part what came, this is how it evolved, okay, emanated. These emanated. Now this one, there is a reference in Bhagavad Gita for a similar this thing, and there Bhagavan Krishna refers to this according to the Vedas, right? According, he says, Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah tasya kartaram api mam vidya kartaram avyayam. So here Bhagavan Krishna says, I Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah. He says that based on guna and karma, I created these 4 varnas. So these are 4 varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And these 4 varnas are based on guna and karma. That is important to understand. It is not by birth. We do not get the credibility of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or a Shudra based on birth. That comes based on guna karma vibhagashah. I create this differentiation based on one's guna and the karma that one does. In this combination I've created for Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. Right? Of course, then he says tasya kartaram api mam vidya kartaram avyayam. I am not associated. I've done this, I've created this, but I don't have the kartara bhava, kartari bhava, so which means I am separate from all this. For me, it doesn't matter what varnam somebody belongs to, right? So, but the first line is important. First line is Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashah. So this is what is referred to. Brahmano osya mukhamasit bahu rajanya kritah uru tat Vaishyah Padbhyam Shudro Ajayata. So from these parts, these different varnas have come. So just let's look at a little bit on varna. Varna essentially means what? Varna means color. Right? Varna means color. In Sanskritam, that is what it means. That one of the direct meanings is color. The other meaning is the other meaning is if you're distinguishing something, varna also means class.
Describing varnana.
Varnana, correct. You're described definition. When you're giving something a definition, that's also varna. Or you're classifying something, that is also varna. Like how when you're
Varnamala, the
correct. Correct. Varnamala, which means you are articulating something as a list of things. So like how Vyasa is to classify and compile, that's Vyasa. Like that, Varna is where you are atomically differentiating something, classify or categorizing something in a certain way. Varna. Varna also means color. Now, this Varna means that through color you are differentiating. What is color here? Like Mama, you pointed out earlier about Guna. Three Guna. The three Gunas have a color of their own. Red, green, and white, red, and black. White is Sattva, red is Tamas, Rajas, and black is Tamas. Symbolically, this is how it is represented also, right? Which is why even if you put Vibhuti Kumkumam, it is Sattva and Rajas together. And you're overlaying the Sattva Rajas over the Tamas that we are. You want to highlight, because from Tamas we want to go to Rajas, and from Rajas you want to go to Sattva, and from Sattva you want to go to Trigunatita. Right? But doesn't mean in this context, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are extremely important for transactional purposes. Very important. And one is not greater than the other. Only in the realm of when somebody is wanting to rise above the gunas, then you look at the gradation. Right? For sleep, you need tamas. If you're wanting to sleep and rest well, you need tamas. If that tamas guna is not in with you, you're so rajasic, you will not rest and the body will burn out. Right? So tamas is required to relax, rest you down also. So all the three are required. We shouldn't look at one is better than the other, but we need to know how to use them. Right? When we are engaged in activity, rajasic in nature. But if you overdo it, then there's burnout. Tamas is required to rest and relax so that your body rejuvenates. Overdo tamas, there'll be laziness, indolence, lethargy that will build up. Likewise, sattva is also very good. Sattva in that gradation, if you look at it, it's extremely good. Everybody looks to get to sattva. But the problem is, if there is only sattva and no rajas, then you can't transact in the world. Right? It will be difficult to transact in the world. So you need to have a combination of all the three. The right combination to engage and transact is important. So when these came out, from the sattva, rajas, tamas came out the four gunas, the four varnas. From the guna came the varna, which is why he's saying guna karma vibhagashaha. Guna karma vibhagashaha. So how did it come? There is a very nice video of Swami Chinmayananda where he explains how the varna came from the guna. From the sattva guna came the brahmana. From the sattva rajas came the kshatriya. From the rajas came the vaishya, and from the tamas came the shudra. This is the classification of guna to varna. Okay. So I introduced one in between because 3 becomes 4, right? So there has to be some mixture of the 3 somewhere. So that one in between is sattva rajas. First is sattva, brahmana, sattva rajas, where sattva is heightened, but rajas is brought in. That combination is kshatriya. Then only rajas is vaishya, and shudra is tamas. So what it means is when the work, when whatever is involved is in the nature of knowledge, understanding, experiencing, teaching, learning, all of that, then it's in the realm of the sattva. Then you map that to the mukham. Brahmanosya mukham asit. Because this is where we do all our thinking, our imagination, our creativity, our understanding, our learning, our processing. Everything happens in the mukha area, the face, the head, mind. Right? This is where everything happens. So this is associated with the sattva, which is then the brahmana comes from the face. Then the sattva rajas is the kshatriyas are rajasic in nature, but it is governed by sattva. The rajas is governed by sattva, which means they are doing everything for the well-being of others. So sattva rajas becomes kshatriya, and that is represented by the arms. Bahu rajanya kritaha. So from the arms came the rajaha. Raja means the kshatriya. And what it means is, even within us, it's the hand that is used for 90% of the stuff that we do. Right? Look at the karmendriyas. Of the 5 karmendriyas, the pani, the hands are the ones that are used the most. Of course, the mouth also. We use the mouth a lot to speak. But I'm saying in terms of doing, it's the hands that is used the most. So the kshatriya is the one that governs our state, where we are, what we do, how we do, etc. Everything is governed by the bahu or the kshatriya. Then uru tadasya yad vaishyaha. Uru is the torso. If you look at it, the thighs. From there comes the vaishya, means this is the part of the body that is used for maintenance. Governance is one, maintenance is the other. Right? Governance is the way you establish strategy, vision, and all of that is also done. So the qualities of a leader is in that, but maintenance is ongoing. You do. So vaishya, what is a vaishya? Is a tradesman, a merchant, a businessman, or somebody who's engaged in the economics, the social economics, involved in that to upkeep society from a material standpoint. How do you upkeep the society in terms of there is exchange of goods, there is livelihood, all of that. So that is vaishya. And that is this part of the body, which means it is about sustenance. So which is why from the torso or the belly down till the thighs, that's the part. Right? Belly is where you consume, and you then a little further down you excrete. So essentially the maintenance cycle happens in that part of the body. That's vaishya. Then padhyam shudro ajayata. Shudra is essentially that tendency within us to do work. How do you do work? By locomotion, from going from one place to the other. Right? By moving from one place to the other, you do physical work. So the aspect that enables us to do physical work within us is Shudra. Padbhyam Shudro Ajayata. So that is the tamas. Why that is the tamas? Because that is the one that governs our mobility. Should you move or should you not move? You should rest. The feet will tell you rest. Stay in one place, rest. The feet is the one that will tell you keep moving. Go from one place to the other to do this, that, and the other. So from that aspect, the Shudra or the Tamas resides in the feet. So again, these 4 are symbolic in the sense that these are there in each one of us. So from the face Brahmana came means it doesn't mean the Brahmin community came from the face of Bhagavan or Purusha. Which is why I said that overlaying or superimposing of this Purusha on us becomes important. The superimposition becomes important. Because what you're doing, you're superimposing that Purusha onto myself and saying, this is the Brahmin. If at all I want to say Brahmin, Kshatriya as communities or classification or caste, within me there are all the 4 castes that are there. This is Brahmana. This is Kshatriya. This is Vaishya. This is Shudra. All of these 4 castes exist within me, and all the 4 are required for me to transact and operate. Right? Even the great Adi Shankara required Shudra. Otherwise, how could he go throughout India? Right? He also required a Vaishya. He had Vaishya in him, because only then you can sustain the body. All of these are important. So essentially, we have to do the right kind of work to engage so that our focus, everybody's focus, it doesn't matter what caste, by birth we belong. Somehow over time, this guna karma vibhagashaha that has happened over time, it has become more of a community thing. You're born into this family, hence you're termed as this. You're born into this family, hence you're termed this. Because what happened is communities started forming to focus on that piece of work. So Brahmins came together to focus on Veda Adhyayanam, teaching, guiding people, not earning for themselves, taking alms, taking bhiksha or dakshina, living their life focused on spiritual pursuits. Such group of people came together and they started becoming, they were called Brahmins, because their focus are all upwards. They didn't care about the bottom part. They didn't care too much about sustenance. The focus was here. They didn't care about their own protection, because their pursuit was much higher. And this can happen to anybody. When you're pursuing something higher, your focus on these parts will reduce. Your desire to eat something, want something, have something, consume something will go down. Right? So that'll all, and then grasping. So when you look at the arms, this is Raja means it's also to, Rajas also go and conquer lands. So it's also a way of taking things, grasping things. And when your focus is on the Brahmana within you, your grasping and wanting to take will also reduce. So all of this will slowly come down. So the Brahmana, in that sense, anybody who starts focusing on higher spiritual pursuits will start reducing their engagement for the lower part. That is the only thing. Likewise, those who are Kshatriyas or those who have this tendency, you may be born in any family. You will see that there are Brahmin boys who are wanting to go to the national, whatever, the army, right? They want to go to army, they want to serve the nation, etc. Because they have that desire to go and do something. The rajas is very high, but the rajas is sattva rajas, because they're wanting to do for society, they're wanting to do for the well-being of people around them. Right? So this way, this whole, our body is classified based on the gunas, the distribution of gunas. And remember, we are born with a certain combination of gunas, but it can always be modified. And which is why whatever you choose, whatever line of pursuit, focus that we choose, our gunas also get modified based on that. A lot of people, as you age, you will realize, you will know that, Ayo, I was like that, I became like this. I was like that, I became like this. That is because our gunas, when we started off, we were not very aware our gunas were distributed in a certain way. But we took concerted effort in a certain direction, and then our gunas have now become slightly, it is changed, it is altered. So it's something that can be changed. Right? So although we come with a certain disposition, we can always alter that in whichever direction we want. Right? And also satsanga, depending on the kind of sangha we are in. Right? If you're in political circles, you'll always be wanting to do this, that, other, all of that. Right? If you are in the business circles, you'll always want to think about business, growing, you know, you want to grow the economy, you want to grow all of, you want to build, all of this will be predominant in you if you're part of that sangha. So it doesn't matter where you're born into or what you were, what you want to associate with yourself becomes your choice. Right? Yes, Mama, you're saying something?
Yeah, the guna and varna, அது mismatch ஆகும்போது அந்த வர்ண சங்கிரக அப்படின்ட்டு இவர் அர்ஜுனன் சொல்லுவார்.
Correct.
மிஸ்மேட்ச் ஆயிடும், அந்த இது மாறிடும் அப்படின்னு அது தப்பான வழியில். ஏன்னா சத்சங்கம் கிடையாது. ஸோ த குணா அண்ட் த வர்ணா இஃப் இட் mismatches.
Correct. There is conflict inside. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
சொல்றாரு நம்ம வந்து based on the guna you are born in a particular family அதுன்னு சொல்றாரு இல்லையா?
correct.
வர்ணனை பத்தி சொல்றாரு.
Guna.
இருந்தீங்கன்னா the next birth will be of the same, the family will be also of the same guna.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Then you have a choice to change, alter it.
Correct.
இங்கதான் அந்த ஞானத்தை கொண்டு வந்து ஆல்டர் பண்றதுக்கு முடியும் சொல்றாரு இல்லையா?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That jnana can alter your guna, yeah.
Absolutely right. Correct. Correct, Mama. The important thing you mentioned, because anywhere else in the Gita or any other works, the indication of varna is not there so much. It's always guna based. Because guna is what you come with. Nobody, when you're born, nobody turns your and chops on the butt saying you're a Vaishya or you're a Brahmana. Nobody, ISI mudra mari yarum kutharadilla. It is the guna with which we are born. And like you said, it is through understanding of what my guna is and trying to see what I am, what my disposition is. Because the gunas may be in a certain way, I may have certain disposition or certain drive to a certain thing. There could be a mismatch. My gunas may not be aligned to the thing that I'm wanting to achieve. But then through understanding, through knowledge, through this thing, if I can, like an Angulimala, for example, or Ratnakara Daku, there, imagine over so many years, their gunas have just become that they have to go and hit people, kill people, snatch, steal, burgle. Angulimala was even worse. He will cut their finger and put an anguli in his mala. So somehow their gunas have become, but then there is a transformation, some opening that occurred, and then they resolved that they want to go in that direction and they persevered. When that happened, their guna also slowly transformed in that direction. Right? So this
the transformation, you need a guru.
Correct.
Do that U-turn and
Correct.
realize that this is what you are and this is what you have to become.
Correct. Correct. From a spiritual standpoint, when we are looking at it, we are not talking about skill sets again, right? Here, because we are in a satsanga where we are wanting to turn inwards and we want to explore within, our focus is not going to be on improving skills, trying to get better at something. No. We are all in a way a Brahmana. When we are trying to we have made a resolve Because we may not have been born as a Brahmana. I'm saying from a guna standpoint. From a guna standpoint, we may not have been born as a Brahmana. But we're making a resolve that I want to spend more time in self-exploration and understanding the truth and understanding the self. And then, like again, Mama said, then the Guru comes through in whatever form, in different forms, different gurus. But our resolve is the one that keeps taking us in that direction. Then our gunas also alter. And our focus is to move towards the Brahmana and use the other three gunas within us as a tool to bring us to that that's the Brahmanatvam, Brahmacharyam. Brahmacharyam essentially is Brahman Samipe Charati. So one who is wanting to go near Brahman, Charati, walks in that direction as a Brahmacharya. Right? So when our idea is to go in that direction. Now, whether it is whatever is our profession, whatever is the work that we do, but if we constantly build ourselves towards this, because ultimately the idea is also to transcend the gunas, triguna tita, to transcend all the gunas and be in a place where we use these as tools. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are gunas that can become a tool in our hands that we can play with and we can use it where we want. Why? Because again, like Krishna is saying here, Vidya kartaram avyayam. So Vidhi kartaram akartaram avyayam. It does not, I am the avyayam, I am the unchangeable. Akartaram, I am the non-doer. So Vidhi, know that I am the non-doer and I am the akartaram and I am avyayam. I don't change because of these gunas. So we have to establish this within ourselves so much that my whole focus is to go trigunatita. I have to rise above all the three gunas. And then you become that Purusha. Purusha Katidhavya Kalpayana. The Purusha has been broken into multiple parts, but that Purusha is still there, no? When there are these things that come out of the Purusha, it doesn't mean the Purusha is suddenly dissolved. Oh, these four things have come out of the Purusha, and where is the Purusha? It's not like that. Those four parts came out means the four things came out from these parts, but the Purusha himself remains unchangeable. Avyayam. So our focus is not so much on these four things. Our focus is not on the Varna, not on the Guna, on the Purusha. So we have to turn inwards more and more and more and say, okay, now my focus is going towards the Brahmana, but again, I'm not resting there. I'm going even further and I'm going into the Purusha and I'm wanting to see and be in that space from where I can see all the play. I can see the play of the Trigunas. I can see the play of the Varnas. I can see the play of everything. Then I am Lalita Tripura Sundari. So then I overlay that on me. So that Purusha then is like this. From here, everything is coming, but I am unchanging. I am Avyayam. I am Akartaraha. Right? So that is where we saw the 12th and the 13th. And further more things that also come out from different parts of the Purusha. We'll look at that next week. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayami Sadashivayeti Samarpayami Jagadambikayeti Samarpayami Sadgurunathayeti Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Satgurubhyo Namah. Hari Om Gurudeva.